Hey guys, it's Spooky Boots here. Today we are going to be having a P-rail session with some new skates. A couple months ago, I built a new P-rail. It's the same P-rail as my last P-rail, except I just switched out the coping to a bigger diameter pipe. This one is at 2 inches, and my previous rail, which I actually have right here, is 1 1/4, I believe. So I just wanted something a little bigger, just something to fill that H block a little more, something to kind of force me to get a little more top on top sides. Yeah, I just wanted something different. If you guys want to learn how to build this P-rail, I am making a how to build a P-rail 2022 video. You can follow the steps in that video when it comes out, or it's essentially the same format as my last P-rail, so I already have a video on how to build that P-rail. So if you want to see that video, I'll link to it up here somewhere. Let's talk about the new skates. So I got the Rollerblade blanks, the Sean Keen Pro Model skate. I kept it pretty true to how they came in the box, except I switched out a few things. I took out the liner, the blank liner, because it's not a liner that I'm used to. I don't want to break in a liner right now. So I got my broken in Intuition liners here. This will give me a baseline for how the skate feels and not how the skate and the liner and that combination feels. Now I just have to worry about basically what the skate's doing and not what the liner's doing. My first impression, taking this out of the box, it's a heavy skate. It's a really heavy skate. It's definitely up there in weight. I'm not really sure how much it weighs, but just compared to my Thems, compared to my Aeons, it might be on par with rims. I don't know. It's a pretty heavy skate. I'm just gonna see how this skates today. All we're doing is P-rail skating, so we're not even really breaking these in. We're not even really getting a good feel for how they'll perform, but it will be a first impression. If you guys wanna see me skate these skates on that rail, stick around. We'll see how it goes. At the end of the video, I'm gonna hop in the studio and throw on some frames. I keep getting questions of like, how does this frame fit? How does this frame fit? I know the blanks are having some compatibility issues or something's going on. It's just what I've been hearing. So let's drag the rail out into the driveway and get this session going. The skates fit, I'm gonna have to get used to. I think what's going on is I'm getting a lot of pressure around my whole foot, and I think what happened is the liners that this boot came with are a lower volume liner, I think. So putting the Intuitions in there is filling up more space. And I also did that thing, so these are half-size boot molds, so I think the one that I got was 8.5. So I did the thing to make the skates fit like an 8, I believe. Doing that and then adding in the higher volume liner, it's just a lot of pressure on my feet. So I just need to figure out the inside of the boot a little more. I gotta take something out, or I don't know, do something. Frames. Okay, so the frames are really different from anything I've skated recently. So I'm used to that Aeon frame with a lot of wheel bite protection. I'm used to the Wish frames, again, a lot of wheel bite protection. And then getting on these blank frames, there's not a lot of wheel bite. I would actually say that this is more of an anti-rocker frame than it is a flat frame. Although I think you can skate it flat with really no issues, but I'm still figuring out this H block, so I'm getting used to, you know, where the wheels are hitting the rail. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm actually gonna drag the box out because I wanna skate a smaller coping. So I'm gonna get a few tricks on the box, and then let's head inside and try some different frames on, and I'll just kind of summarize or wrap up the video. I'm definitely a little rusty, a little winded, definitely feeling it, but so far I'm enjoying the skates. Again, I need to figure out the volume within the boot itself. My feet are completely numb at the moment, and it's just because things are a little too tight in there. The squeak. So two things when it comes to sound with these skates is they are solid when you come off of something. It sounds like a solid thud. It's really nice. The squeak, however, it is an intense squeak, and I'll stand up and show you guys. So yeah, you got a little bit of a squeak going on, which for some people is not a super huge deal. For others it is, but that's just one thing I'm noticing. I'm actually feeling pretty exhausted, feeling pretty rusty too. I'm not having the best session. Let's pack all this up, get into the studio, try on a couple different frames, and I will finalize my thoughts for you guys. So we are back in the studio. It's a couple of days later, so I haven't edited any of my footage yet, so I'm trying to remember where we left off. I think what I wanted to do was try a couple of different frames, actually a lot of different frames, and just see how they fit on the Rollerblade blank. Just so to give you guys, I don't know, I know there's been some issues with certain frames fitting right, so hopefully this will just give you a little bit of insight. I'm not going to tell you how each one of these rides on these boots. I just don't have that amount of time or energy at the moment. But yeah, for now, let's just see if we can even just fit the frames on the boot, which I think all of them are going to go on just fine. I have the Wish Medium chassis right here, so we're going to see if that goes on okay. I have the 50/50 Prime frame. I have the Kaiser Element 2s. I have the Mary Minoy's Celtic. I'm not really sure how you say it. I don't know how this skates. I've never skated it before. And then I have the 50/50 balance frames. So we're going to try all of these frames. Oh, and then forgot about this one. We're going to try a big wheel frame. We're going to try this ground control 125. As far as skating the other day, I had a lot of fun. I think I was struggling with that new P rail. It's a big coping and I just need to get used to that. So the rail was okay. I think I ended up skating the box more. But yeah, the session was fine. I liked how the skates performed for the most part. Soul tricks felt fast. H-block tricks felt fast. Top sides felt great. On the top sides that I was able to top, I was kind of rolling a lot of my top sides that day. But yeah, the boot performed. The boot, the sole, and the frame performed really well, and I'm really happy with what I got here. Let's go ahead and just try to get some of these frames on this boot. So obviously the blank frames fit on the boot just fine, as they should, or at least you hope they would, which they did. The frame that looks like it's not gonna work for some reason for me is the Celtic frame. It looks really beefy around the mounting area, so I'm wondering how it's gonna go onto this boot with this wraparound sole plate. It's got some interesting design towards the top. So I want to try this one first. Wow, that actually fits really nicely. But let's secure it just to get a better idea. That fits really nicely, and it actually looks really nice too. A little bit of rattling, but that's from the axle bolts in here. That's snug and secure, and I'm not seeing any mounting issues. The Mary Minoy's frame fits solid. No issues with this frame. So let's move on to the Wish frame, which is a popular frame that I know a lot of people are throwing on the blank because it's a tall frame. With this deep wraparound sole plate, I think it gets a little more up there. Inside the boot, obviously it's going into the sole, so it's a tall frame that is essentially becoming lower because of the sole plate. This is the frame I'm most excited about in order to see how it fits on here. I think this is probably going to be the frame that I end up skating the most once I'm done trying the blank frames out. I think this is going to be my go-to frame for this boot. Ooh, that is a good looking setup. No fit issue, went on there really nicely. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's certain boots that came out of this production that might have some UFS bolts kind of shifted around or something. I don't know. The one frame that I thought wouldn't work did. The frame that I was most excited about is working out. Looks like it just fits fine, secure, super snug, looks really good. Yeah, I'm super stoked about this. My roommate made me some tea. Prime frame. Okay, so this is interesting. It's a little off visually, but the frame bolt might go in. Okay, so getting a little bit of a weird fit issue with the prime frame. Wow, I'm kind of surprised. I am having a fit issue with the prime frame. I can get one bolt in just fine. It'll sink flat, and then it shifts the frame back, and so this bolt back here is doing this. And I'm afraid to torque it all the way down because it might strip the bolt or eat up a little bit of the frame mounting hole area. Yeah, something is going on. Yeah, that's not great. I don't know why that's doing it. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the prime frame and the Rollerblade Solo or blank boot are having some compatibility issues, maybe? I don't know. I've heard of this happening. Maybe if you're considering getting the blanks, maybe consider a different frame than the prime frame, or you might have to do a little bit of rigging, modding. I don't know. It's not going on as nicely as it should. Okay, I think the yellow and the blue are gonna look cool together, so I'm excited about this. Hopefully it fits better than the other 50/50 frame. Not off to a great start. Visually, the UFS receiving bolts look shifted inward, but it could just be a visual thing. Okay, I was worried for a second because it was starting to do that same like crooked screw thing, but it actually, the prime or the balance frames did go on nicely. No issues, but it definitely wasn't as easy as the first two frames. I would say you're safe with the balance frames. They look good too. Yeah, let's get the balance frame off. Try the Kaiser Element 2s. Cool. And that is the Kaiser Element 2 frame on the blank Solo. Or, I'm sorry guys, the blank skate, Rollerblade blank. There it is. Nice and shiny. Another good looking frame. It's a short frame, so I think with a size 8 you can get away with it. If you got like a 9 or a 10 or 11 foot size, I think this frame looks bad on most bigger boots. All right, and there it is, the big wheel setup on the Solo. I am rubbing in a couple of spots. Oh, actually, just the middle. 1 and 3 are rolling freely, really easily. And wheel 2 is hitting the sole plate a little bit, which is pretty standard for this frame. Every boot that I've put this frame on, I've had to modify the sole plate just so all the wheels would spin. So that's just, I think that's just standard with this frame. That is most of the frames I own. I have a couple more that I don't want to bother with. The only issue I had was with the prime frame. And I don't know if it's just because their holes are more precise and smaller, or what the deal is, but yeah, that it was causing one of those frame bolts to go crooked, and I was worried about damaging something, so I didn't commit to getting the prime frame on there all the way. I know some people have had success with getting the prime frame on their skates, so I don't know if it's just some of them or most of them or just a couple. Let's see. Yeah, I'm excited about these skates. I'm gonna skate them more often. I'm still working on my 1000K edit. I kind of promised these skates would be like a gift to myself for finishing, so I kind of didn't commit to that too well. I think the edit's just taking longer than what I'd like. My life has been a little turbulent lately, so it's just hard to get out there and skate as much as I'd like to. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see me continue to skate these boots and just kind of give you my opinion on them, subscribe so you don't miss my videos and you can see when my next Rollerblade blank video drops. If you like what I do and you want to support me, I do have a Patreon. I will link to it in the description box. And if you guys have any questions, I check my comments all the time, so I will answer your questions if you have any. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.